Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with coverage of Game 3 of the 2017 Women's World Championship final. Chan had won the second game, which meant the score was 1.5 against a half in her favor in this 4-game match. So Anna Muzychuk was under huge pressure. She knew that game 3 of the match could be the last one if she lost. And she really had to win with the white pieces. Because a draw would mean she would have to win in the last game with the black pieces. And we all know that is really very difficult at the top level. So a must-win game for Muzychuk, played on the 1st of March 2017. Let's have a look. Muzychuk opened e4 as always, and Chan went again for the French. d4, d5, knight c3, and she did not play the Rubinstein variation d takes e4 like she did in game 1. She played knight f6, the classical French. e5, knight fd7, f4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e3, bishop e7, and with queen d2, Muzychuk is preparing castling queenside. Chan castled kingside, d takes e5, bishop takes e5, and there goes the king to the queenside. So opposite castling, always a recipe for an exciting game, and that's exactly what Anna Muzychuk was in for. Queen a5, it's clear, black is going to attack on the queen side and white is going to attack on the king side. Muzychuk played a3, not so much to give a fork with b2, b4, because then there's queen takes a3 check, but she wants to play the bishop to d3. That bishop would be very well positioned there, looking at the h7 pawn, and she doesn't want to be disturbed by knight b4 hitting that bishop. Chan played bishop e7, there goes the bishop to d3, and a6. This move is to continue with a quick b7, b5 to get the attack going on the queen side. But looking back, Chan should have played knight c5 here. Hitting that bishop, the bishop has to go back to e2, and it slows down white's attack somewhat. But she played a6, and there comes Muzychuk with h4. b5. Chan had played very quickly so far. It could have been preparation, or it could have been a sign that she has some trouble handling the pressure. You see it more often when people are very nervous. They start to play quickly just to get rid of the tension of making the next move. And there, on the 14th move, Muzychuk went for it. The Greek gift, the classical sacrifice on h7. She thought it was working here, and she was right. Bishop takes h7. You have to take, and queen d3 check. King back is the only move, and there comes knight g5. Now Chan thought for a long time and came up with f5. According to Muzychuk, that was the mistake. She thought after f5 she was already winning. Muzychuk said that she should have played g6, and then she gave a variation in her interview afterwards. She said then h5, king g7, and h takes, f takes, and she felt that white was better, but didn't really see any win yet. It was straight after the game, and Muzychuk must have mixed up a variation, because instead of king g7 there is bishop takes g5, f takes g5, and knight d takes e5, and black is better. I'm sure Muzychuk would have seen this on time. She would have not have gone a5, h5 after g6, but this is the variation she gave in her interview after the game. But yes, g6 would have been a better move. Chan played f5, and Muzychuk knew how to play this position. She knew the motives in this type of position with the classical bishop sacrifice. She played the strongest move, knight takes d5. A second piece sacrifice, but you cannot really take that piece. If you take on d5, then there's queen takes d5 check, king h8, and you win one piece back. But more importantly, you now hit the rook in the corner, and there's also a threat of queen g6 with checkmate on h7. This is not playable for black. Tan saw that and played b4, continuing her own attack. Knight takes e7, knight takes c7, and bishop d2. There were other options, but this is a safe one, pinning the pawn on b4. Rook b8 from Tan, trying to get that counterplay going, but after queen d6, white is winning. Black's attack is not going anywhere. Tan saw nothing better than queen c5 to deal with white's threats. Muzychuk took on b4, the queens were swapped, knight g6, knight takes e6, and if we do a material count now, we see that white in the meantime has got 4 pawns for the piece, and not only that, you see that now also both rooks are hanging. Rook e8, bishop took b8, rook takes e6, and simply g3 to make sure the knight does not capture on f4. Bishop b7, hitting the rook on h1, so rook h2, knight c5 saving the knight, rook d8 check, king h7, bishop d6, knight e4, and now Muzychuk saw a win with h5. The knight has to go to h8. If the knight goes to e7, then there is rook d7, winning more material. But knight h8 is also not saving black. h6, knight f7. If you would have taken that pawn on h6, then there is rook d7 check, and you lose the bishop on b7. So knight f7 was played by Tan. Rook d7, rook takes d6, and after rook takes f7, the Chinese player Tan resigned. 32 moves, and really after f5, which was the 16th move, black was already in big trouble. Why did she resign here? Let's have a look. There's a threat of rook takes g7, and if you take that pawn on h6, then one of the variations is that you just take back, king takes, and you take on b7, and if you count, you're in exchange and 3 pawns up. So this is not a position that gives you any hope with black. Anna Muzychuk said after the game, Tan played the French opening as in game 1, but a different line. I didn't expect this line, but remember it more or less. It's not easy to play with black if you don't have experience in this line. You have to have the feelings for all these possible sacrifices and who is quicker in the attack. I thought for a long time before playing 14 bishop takes h7, because there's also the option of 14 knight g5. I think black's 16 f5 was a mistake. I thought she would play 16 g6, then h5, king g7, take. And I didn't see a concrete mate or a strong attack, but I have many moves to improve my position. After black's 16 f5, I thought I was already winning, but there are so many options, I have to be precise. I knew I had to try really hard with white today, as winning with black in the last game is very difficult. I could sleep last night, but after a loss, it's never pleasant. At least I didn't blunder anything yesterday. It was not such a terrible loss, which made it easier to take. So we're all square again after 3 games, 1.5 against 1.5. Game 4 of the match will be played on Thursday, the 2nd of March. Can will have the white pieces, Muzychuk will have the black pieces. And I will report on the game on this channel. Hope you enjoyed this coverage of Game 3. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. And I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. You also may want to check out my Chess 2 Progress channel, where I have quite a bit of material now as well. This is Rick from Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.